You got it?
Paul Edward, Tom Edward, Robert Sam, first of Roxanne, Robert H. Nicely, Adam Noah, Noah Edward. Email out of 8.75 or 6.1.
Mr. Ramirez became despondent, and at that time, shortly thereafter, it appeared that the sound of one gunshot was heard by the negotiators. After being unable to reestablish contact with Mr. Ramirez, it was decided that entry into the residence had to be made. Entry was made, and Mr. Ramirez, along with one of his daughters, were found deceased inside the residence. The other daughter was then transported to Delta Sutter Hospital, where she was later pronounced deceased.
I don't have any. But it's like, I can't pull it from here, right? I'm too far away.
Yeah, she took him 200 meters. 12 meters, just like fire right down the stairs. How's it going, everybody? This is Sultan Productions. Today, I got a very special video, right, regarding a tragedy that happened back in the late 90s in a city called Antioch in Northern California, right, involving un norteño and a police standoff. Now, before I begin this video, I want to say rest in peace to this gentleman. Rest in peace to his homeboy Woody. And hopefully they could let free Snoop, right? So I'm gonna break it all down, what occurred, what happened, and the circumstances surrounding this case. This case to me is a tragedy. It's something that shouldn't have happened, right? In my eyes, obviously, it's back in the late '90s, so it's far behind my time. Uh, I was a baby during these times, so I didn't know about it. I barely found out about this case literally like 2 months ago. I don't know if you guys know a rapper by the name of Woody, a norteño rapper. I really like his music. I would hear the stories he would talk about in his music, and I started hearing this name pop out, right? This name Blackbird, right? Uh, and I was like, what's going on with this? You know, it would say rest in peace, Blackbird. You know, some of my favorite songs by this artist Woody is My Sickness or Ghetto Sickness. There's also Bury Me on East 18th Street. If I Die. A lot of good hits that Woody made, right? So, in I found an article written by Kevin Fagan in July 13th, 1998. So, I'm trying to find information around this case, but it's very hard to get information about this case in particular for some reason. But I found this article, and it says almost everyone was sure that whatever happened in the cordoned off house in Antioch, the two tiny hostages would come out alive. But in a sudden, horrifying eruption of rage and despair, it was over. As the police SWAT team rushed into the house late Saturday night to find 22-year-old Carlos Ramirez dead with his two mortally shot toddler daughters in an apparent murder-suicide, one heart-wrenching question was already forming. How could Ramirez have a 42-hour standoff end so unthinkably when no one who knew him thought he would harm his own daughters? Throughout the standoff, he was reading to the kids, changing the littlest one's diapers, and putting ointment on her for diaper rash, feeding the kids hot dogs and Pedialyte, Ramirez said, choking back a sob. Does this sound like a man who wanted to kill his daughters? Relatives of the children's mother, 25-year-old Cami Viramontes, Ramirez's ex-girlfriend, echoed the sentiment. No one, not even Cami, thought he was going to harm the kids, said Kevin Viramontes, Cami's cousin. Antioch officials say Ramirez was talking relatively calmly with the police mediators throughout the standoff until 10:53 p.m., when he inexplicably started screaming and rambling. What is wrong with me? No, oh my God, I love you, Ramirez cried out according to police. Then came his last words, 5, 4, 3, 2. Negotiators on the phone next heard what sounded like two muffled shots, one sharp and loud shot, and then the line went silent. They had hoped the relatives were right about his fatherly inclination, but they never ruled out murderous possibilities, given his violent background. We attempted to re-establish contact, we couldn't, so we went in, a weary Antioch Police Lieutenant Rick Marchoke said early yesterday morning. He said the SWAT team waited about an hour before charging the house. The father and his daughters were found in a bedroom, each shot with one of Ramirez's guns, police said. Ramirez and his younger daughter, 1-year-old Cavi, were dead, and his other daughter, 3-year-old Kayleona, was clinging to life. Kayleona was rushed to nearby Sutter Delta Medical Center, where she was pronounced dead on arrival. Police refused to reveal what their actions were as they entered the house, or exactly what happened during negotiations, saying it was a tactical matter being reviewed. And see, that's very strange to me, right? How all of a sudden they don't got no they didn't really give no statement on exactly what happened, right? And usually the police are the ones that are so detailed in their statements, right? But neighbors and Ramirez relatives said before the house was stormed, they heard at least one blast. Sources said police tossed in a concussion grenade designed to stun him. As a flash lit up the block, then several popping sounds. Some also said they thought they heard at least one gunshot about 3 hours before the police entered the house. You know, and the police, why would they throw a flash grenade or a concussion grenade knowing that there was two little girls in the house? Those were one of the things that kind of got me like what the fuck, you know? Police said they fired no gunshots throughout the entire ordeal, and they were prepared to wait as long as it took for a peaceful end. But once they heard gunshots over the phone and couldn't raise Ramirez again, there was only one choice: go in. The probability that the 3-year-old lay wounded and alive in the house for about an hour was tragic, but necessary given the situation, police said. You have to consider the safety of all parties involved in a situation like this, said Police Chief David Lewis. You don't know who's dead when you hear gunshots. It changes the dynamics of how you make entry. You don't hear shots and barge in the door. That could lead to a lot more fatalities. The people most likely to shed light on Ramirez's final hours are the negotiators, and they weren't talking yesterday. Without that and other bits of information, Ramirez's family remained doubtful to the official account. They said there was no shots when they went in, but other people say they were, said Ramirez's mother. They're not telling us everything. Eerily, the shooting came on the 5th anniversary of a similar tragedy in Antioch, when Joel Souza shot his 2 children and himself to death after being pressured by police to surrender. Lewis and the other city officials admittedly denied that there was any relation to the way the standoff was handled. And the Souza debacle, Souza had no criminal or violent record. They said while Ramirez was wanted for a 1994 shooting and had a $1 million warrant outstanding for a 1995 gang-related slaying in Antioch, the way the drama began Friday at 6:10 a.m. also made negotiators unusually wary. Ramirez broke into the house Cami Viramontes lives with her children and her parents. Sam and Janice Viramontes through a window, wearing camouflage clothing and face paint, and began threatening the adults with a 9mm handgun and rifle, police said. He was upset over the breakup of his relationship with the children's mother. And in the chaos that erupted, he shot Sam Viramontes, who had armed himself with a pistol. He wanted to kill all the adults, so they ran out, said one source familiar with the investigation. Nobody dreamed he would ever harm the children, so they decided to let the police sort it out. As police surrounded the residence, Ramirez fired at least 2 rounds at them, hitting nobody. By 8:30 a.m., officers were evacuating 150 people from several blocks in the pleasant, normally quiet Miravista neighborhood. Negotiators said Ramirez appeared to be taking good care of the girls as the standoff stretched on. At one point, mediators told him that if he gave up, In 2 years, you can go to Disneyland with your kids, said one source. The comment made Ramirez angry, as did mediator suggestions that if he gave up, he could eventually get a job and reunite with Viramontes, the source said. Elsa Ramirez said she talked to her son by phone Saturday between 6 and 7 p.m. And he kept saying, "The only thing I want is to talk to Cammy." He kept crying, saying, "This isn't how it was supposed to happen." Chief Lewis said negotiators didn't let Viramontes talk to Ramirez because the volatile relationship between the two might trigger the gunman into violence. Who knows, man? That maybe could have saved his life, you know? Kevin Viramontes said his cousin and her parents were staying with relatives and did not want to talk to Cammy Viramontes. He said it's holding up okay, but I think she has slept almost all day. Police said the sole motive for the siege appeared to be Ramirez's fixation on his relationship. They said Ramirez had eluded officers since the 1995 homicide, and that after fleeing to Mexico, he had returned and was living recently with his mother. Neighbors were filled with a mixture of sadness and anger yesterday as police let them back into their homes. They were unhappy that they had to stay with relatives in motels or at a nearby Red Cross shelter, but they were even more miserable that all the upheaval had saved no one. All of Antioch is grieving, said a weeping mayor, Mari Rocha, who lives a half block from the house and had to evacuate. "This is all crazy," Ron Crivello said, while he watered the lawn he had to neglect for 2 days. "People are talking about whether the cops did this thing right or wrong, but is there really a right or wrong in a situation like this? What else could they do but wait and then go in? They could have let that guy talk to his lady, man, to his ex. Maybe that would have saved his life and the little girl's life, you know? Sometimes the police think they know it all, man, but they really don't." Dozens of residents, many weeping, arrived throughout the day to place flowers and toys on a makeshift memorial on the trunk of a police car near the house. About 200 more people gathered last night for a candlelight vigil at the nearby Calvary Open Bible Church. You know, and that's a very sad situation, man. Like, how gangbanging could, end up affecting everybody around you, man, in a way that you least expect, right? And that's crazy, man. So now we're going to be talking about a guy called Snoop, right? Gabriel Snoop Robertson. He was a guy that lived in the East Contra Costa, and he's serving life for a murder conviction that gained a special notoriety after frequent references in popular underground rap songs had been denied parole for the next 10 years. The 44-year-old Robertson had hardly sat down for his November 2020 parole hearing before he was kicked out during a heated back and forth with presiding parole commissioner Arthur Anderson. According to a transcript obtained Monday, as he was led away by a prison guard, Robertson called the proceeding a kangaroo court and told Anderson, "You're a clown," the transcript says. The exchange started when Robertson maintained his innocence in the 1994 quintuple shootings that left 26-year-old George Franco dead. Robertson was 17 at the time but was tried as an adult because of a prior home invasion robbery conviction. He's been in prison since his 18th birthday. He has spent a decade in solitary confinement in the notorious Pelican Bay State Prison. When Parolee Commissioner Anderson asked Robertson why he thought he was suitable to regain his freedom, Robertson again pressed his claim of innocence, leading to a terse exchange between the two. "I'm suitable because I never even committed the crime I'm in here for," Robertson said. Anderson replied, "Okay, well, that has nothing to do with why you're here in prison." Robertson said, "The fact that I didn't commit the crime has nothing to do with why I'm in prison?" "No, it has nothing to do with this hearing. We're not here to retry the case," Anderson said, later adding, "The law says you're guilty." "I don't care what the law says," Robertson retorted. "I'm not guilty." "Well, look, let me tell you something, Mr. Robertson. Don't get argumentative with me. "I'm the wrong guy." Anderson shot back at the point, threatening to throw Robertson out of the hearing. A few moments later, Robertson was gone. Anderson later cited the clown remark as evidence Robertson was unsuitable for parole. "Mr. Robertson obviously could not control his anger," Anderson said. "He flared up and became very angry at the start of the hearing and was very confrontational, disruptive, and totally disrespectful, calling the commissioner names. We're concerned that if he had a conflict with a stranger in society that he didn't like, it can result into violence." Commissioner also noted Robertson didn't have support letters, hadn't vocalized plans after prison, and didn't take anger management or other self-help programs in prison. Robertson's attorney told commissioners his client likely believed the denial of parole would be a foregone conclusion, but argued Robertson's lack of violence in prison was evidence he would do well on the outside. After an earlier mistrial, Robertson was convicted of murdering Franco and 4 attempted murder counts. The prosecutor, then Deputy District Attorney John Cope, said at the time the case hinged on identification of Robertson as a shooter by a victim who admitted he had several beers that night. So technically, the guy that testified against Snoop was drunk that night, right? The late Antioch rapper Ryan Wood, who used the stage name Woody, frequently proclaimed in songs that his friend Robertson was wrongfully convicted. In one song, Act Accordingly, Wood raps, "Police say forever Snoop's locked down. He's innocent. You can ask the Yorktown." In other songs, Wood implies Robertson took a life sentence rather than identifying the real killers. But to Antioch police, the case was a straightforward act of retaliation by norteño gang members targeting rival sureños. Hours before the shooting, several sureños committed a drive-by shooting in Pittsburgh that left a man paralyzed. A group of norteños then drove out to the Antioch Veterans Memorial Hall, where a family was throwing a quinceañera for a 15-year-old girl. According to police, Robertson and a second shooter burst in, guns blazing. Prosecutors said at the time a sureño was present but wasn't struck by gunfire, and that the 5 shooting victims were innocent bystanders. The man who police long suspected of being the second shooter, Carlos Joseph Ramirez, who went by the nickname Blackbird, died 4 years later in a tragic incident that culminated with a SWAT standoff involving more than 100 officers. Ramirez's brother was the man paralyzed in the earlier Pittsburgh shooting. Though just 22 years old at the time, Ramirez was suspected of multiple homicides and spent years on the lam before police caught up with him in July 1998. That day, he fired at officers and told members of his girlfriend's families he wouldn't be taken alive, according to media reports. Ramirez ultimately barricaded himself in a home on Putnam Street with his young daughters, Cavi and Kayleona. At the end of a 2-day standoff, police heard him count down from 5 and then gunfire. Police found Ramirez and the girls' bodies inside the home, and the case was ruled a double homicide and suicide. Ramirez's last words were an anguished, "Oh my God," according to media reports. Many of Ramirez's friends still cling to the theory that police fired that fatal shots and covered it up. Citing the coroner's reports list 3 gunshot wounds to the head, one of which was a graze. After Ramirez's death, Wood posthumously released tapes of Ramirez speaking on one of his songs referencing Robertson's case. "Gabe's a West 20th Street legend now, you know," Ramirez says, later adding, "Keep the story alive for the youngsters and show them what a real soldier does when he's caught behind enemy lines." And here's a quick video on who Woody is for those that don't know who Woody is, right? He's a rapper from Northern California, rapping in Antioch with East Coco Records, right? And here's a quick little clip just to show you who he was for those that don't know, right?
Underdog Records in the Walmart Shopping Center. We're still here with Woody, and we have some artists that are featured on his tape. Woody, could you introduce them?
Yeah, this is my homeboy Little Low, so Northern Cali, and this is my homeboy Shadow, formerly from Straight Lace Mob.
What's up? I'd like to say what's up to everybody. I'm at Frisco, Hunters Point, Ken folks and stuff. These are my real folks. I'd like to say what's up to Juice, no hard feelings, but you know, that's the way it is. Alright, that's all I have to say.
And Lil Los here, he's got a tape coming out too. It's called Envisions of My Hate. So if you like Woody's tape, then go and pick this up because it's going to be even tighter. And I want to say what's up to the executive producers down at East Cocoa Records, Jim McCoy and D Smalls for having my back, having faith in me. I'd like to say what's up to Lil Bird, Bobby Ramirez, all my fellow West Twonsters, all in Northern Cali, all my homeboys in Antioch, Pittsburgh, West Pittsburgh, Concord, Oakley, and keep your eyes peeled. Keep your eyes peeled for a bunch of East Cocoa stuff. We got compilations we're working on too. Oh, and last but not least, I want to say rest in peace to my homeboy Blackbird, Carlos Ramirez, and my goddaughters Kelly Anna and Kate.
So Woody was born on the 20th of November in 1975 in Antioch, Contra Costa County, California, United States. Fed up with a life of gang-related violence and hopelessness, Woody dedicated himself to rap music and quickly rose through the ranks of the Cali Bay Area's underground scene, eventually signing to Koch Records. Hailing from Antioch, California, Woody grew up in an environment filled with gangs, drugs, violence, and crime. Life was rough. For example, Woody's friend Carlos Blackbird Ramirez was shot to death by local police. Another close friend, Gabriel Snoop Robertson, was locked up in Folsom Prison for a crime he didn't commit. And Woody himself had run-ins with the law, nearly charged with attempted murder. After all this drama, Woody turned to the rap game, recording Yacht Influence, which is one of my favorite albums from Woody. His debut release, the record became a local sensation, selling thousands of copies throughout the Bay Area thanks to the Northern Cali anthem, Norte Sighting. Woody then returned to the studio with executive producer D Small to record the East Cocoa compilation, Northern Exposure Volume 1, which is a very good album too. You guys should check it out. The record showcased not only Woody's lyrical skills, but also his production talents. Soon, underground gangster rap magazine Murder Dog was praising his work, introducing Woody to a national audience. This underground success culminated with Woody being offered a record deal with Koch, a large nationally distributed label with plenty of money and clout. Woody's first release for Koch, Demons in My Sleep, 2001, again showcased both his skills as an MC and as a producer. He produces all but 3 of the album's songs. Ryan Woody Wood, a popular Northern California norteño rapper, died Wednesday, March 7th, 2007. It seems impossible to find any official source information regarding his death, right? But the consensus seems to be that Woody, despondent over the recent death of his girlfriend whom he was to marry, shot himself, although some speculate that his death was a gang killing set up to look like a suicide. Most feel otherwise. And some people say it was a suicide. Some people say that it could have been a gang hit made to look like a suicide. I heard this song by a rapper that was really close friend of Woody, right? I guess they were working together in the studio before he passed. His name is AWAX, and he made a song called East Cocoa, right? A badass song. You guys should check it. I'm gonna put a little bit of the song on here. In that song, he says that Woody left a will explaining why he was gonna take his life, right? If I'm taking it right. So I guess before he took his life, he made a video recording to his mother saying that he was the one that actually committed that murder with Blackbird, and that Snoop was actually free. Like, he was a free man, but you know, his loyalty was above all, like Woody liked to say in his songs, and he never snitched or folded, right? So Snoop to this day is still doing time, and according to AWAX, Woody's mother has the recording of this will, right? Which in all reality should be exposed, right? I mean, it should be out there so his homeboy Snoop could be released from prison like Woody requested, right? And I'm gonna put a little bit of the song on here so you guys can hear what I'm talking about. It's a very nice song, very well made, and I mean, it's one of my favorite songs. So maybe by judging this song, right, we could assume that maybe he wasn't murdered, right? Maybe he did leave a will, a video recording of himself admitting to the crimes. For sure, no one's going to record themselves admitting to a crime if they don't plan to end it one way or another, right? And it's a very tragic story in my eyes, in my opinion. It's a very clear example of how gang violence could lead to unfortunate events, not only in the surrounding time, but in the later future, right? Homies go down for crimes they didn't commit, and sometimes there's casualties of war. Before this video is over, I'm gonna play a song of Woody, one of my favorite ones, called "Bury Me on East 18th Street." So 2 years before he died, though, under mysterious circumstances in 2007, the famed rapper Woody Wood released a song where he requested to be laid to rest in Antioch, his hometown. When I die, just let my body lie in peace beneath the earth and sky of Antioch on East 18th. Wood raps on the song. Last August, his friends honored that request, installing a memorial marker at Holy Cross Ceremony in Antioch. While it didn't contain his remains, the site became a place for his friends and loved ones to feel connected to Wood. That's where he wanted to be, said Antioch rapper Big Tone, a close friend of Wood's who declined to give his real name. It was a place for us to go and pay tribute to him. Big Tone is a very good rapper as well, norteño rapper. You guys should check him out. I like some of his music. That is until April 20, when the memory stone turned up missing, apparently dug up and stolen during the night. His friends and fans have reacted with shock and sadness, and now they are raising money for what they hope is a more permanent replacement. I felt that was beyond disrespectful, said Brandon B. Dog Rivera, who appeared on songs with Wood throughout his career. He's been gone for quite a few years now, and for them to have the audacity to do something like that, I don't understand it. Employees at the cemetery declined to comment. Wood's friends say they have no idea who took it, but there are theories, among them an obsessive fan, a thief wanting to sell it, or a rival who took gang references in Woody's lyrics as a challenge. It wasn't 100% surprised. I just was hoping it wouldn't happen, said Storm Wolf, who organized the headstones installations. As loved as he was, there were people who hated him that much too. Wood began his rap career in the late 1990s, releasing his first album, Yacht Influenced, in 1998. Starting in 2000, he began a series of popular compilations albums called Northern Exposure. So that's a little background on Woody Wood. Like I said, his music, it's crazy because I heard about his music maybe like 6 months ago, right? I started hearing his music and I was like, damn, this is really good, right? The first album I heard was Yacht Influenced. I really didn't think he was dead. And I started doing a little bit more research and I started seeing, like I said, once I started hearing Blackbird, I was like, well, who's Blackbird? And I searched it up and I found out it was a murder that happened in Antioch. I saw the circumstances. I was like, damn, that's crazy. He got killed by the cops. And then I started doing more research, and then I find out that he had actually killed himself too, Woody, And it's a very tragic story, but I feel like it's important to share because whether we believe it or not, there is a legacy behind it. There is a meaning. I have a firm belief that some people are here to teach a lesson, and some people are here to learn the lesson, right? And with that being said, I'm gonna end this video here. Please stay safe, my people. Stay aware of your surroundings. Don't do nothing that's gonna put you in a predicament where it could hurt your family. Rest in peace to Woody. Rest in peace to Blackbird. And much respects to his people, right? To their people. With that being said, man, take care, my people.
feeling I get every time I come back from leaving the yacht. Thoughts of love, hatred, and pain flood my brain till my heart feels a shock. I think of them blocks back in the day. Instead of us walk two packets some weight, we snap out the gate, know the package to fate. When aliens group like our drunk got brave, we put them on work, they abolish with choppers, a few to revolvers, a couple of shotguns. But we have some killers behind the triggers. We handle the business and made others quit, but we didn't shit what we aim to deliver. Some hot metal slugs, 2 lungs to live as a foreigner's threatening our way of life. Disrespectful with weapons and knives. A lot of shit changed in the last 10 years. The gangs, the names, some homies switched gears. They couldn't control their fears and tears. Living up in these rearview mirrors. My death is near, but I won't steer away from the fate that awaits to greet me. If it's heaven, swell. If it's hell, oh well, just bury me on East 18th Street.
When I die, just let my body lie in peace beneath the earth, the sky, Antioch on East 18th. In case my soul is condemned to forever wander these streets, I can still watch over my homies when I'm gone and deceased. When I die, just let my body lie in peace beneath the earth, the sky, Antioch on East 18th. In case my soul is condemned to forever wander these streets, I can still watch over my homies when I'm gone and deceased.
Yocktown is Louie Lou, y'all remember your homie? Picture back in big with football, lifting fools off they shoulders before they hit the block, and the town became city. Left that kitty while behind, and got to getting real filthy. Whether lemon tree, frozen J, in and out that Buffet alleyway. Stay with Strizzy and Mrs. Molded Doc like it in our Callaway. Blackbird, man, you miss folk feelings go without saying. Since we touched on the subject, my love, respect to the homie Raymond. Little bird holding it down, make sure the name stay respected. Little bird with Lulos, make sure your name stay respected. May your soul guide our actions, see the enemy infested. My apologies, homie, for your wish long neglected. Your boy a proud father, my miracle, my daughter off the block. Hold on daddy now, cause mommy don't gotta do whatever, remain silent till the Lord set me free. This yacht pioneer, my final rest, East 18th Street.
When I die, just let my body lie in peace beneath the earth, the sky, Antioch on East 18th. In case my soul is condemned to forever wander these streets, I can still watch over my homies when I'm gone and deceased. When I die, just let my body lie in peace beneath the earth, the sky, Antioch on East 18th. In case my soul is condemned to forever wander these streets, I can still watch over my homies when I'm gone and deceased.
The things that I recall, the way it used to be on East 18th, the homie for those that know me. Up in the alley drinking 40s, getting roughed up by the police. As a team getting sent to reach the things they used to preach to me. It's nothing but a memory, just bury me in a cemetery. Close up to the passageway, you're walking with some Hennessy. You dump it in the cracks, man, and let it soak. Just let it be known, I'm never gone. The streets so roam, the pain's so low, so carry on. I'm finally home, no need to moan. We'll drop a tear across the there, although I'm here. I think appears in all these years, as those is missed. I'm feeling Vince with no escape. Just hope the fate will open the gates with open arms. With all these scars, although it's hard, it's in my heart. I've done my part, unforgettable. They mention you, Grandma, Alex, Shody, Pablo, Blackbird, Raymond. Keep on praying over my grave. I want to say throughout cold days and stormy weather, we'll always be together. Where we end up, let our souls drift and bless us with this one wish.
When I die, just let my body lie in peace beneath the earth, the sky, Antioch on East 18th. In case my soul is condemned to forever wander these streets, I can still watch over my homies when I'm gone and deceased. When I die, just let my body lie in peace beneath the earth, the sky, Antioch on East 18th. In case my soul is condemned to forever wander these streets, I can still watch over my homies when I'm gone and deceased.